Hi, my name is Tracy Matthews. I'm the liaison to the Business Advocacy Committee of the Campbell County Chamber of Commerce. Today I'm with Jim West, who's running for City Council Ward 1. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
So why don't you please introduce yourself to us?
All right, my name is Jim West. I've lived in Gillette since 1979. I went to school here and graduated from Campbell County High School. Years later, I attended Gillette College and I graduated there with an associate's degree of science in physical education. I have 4 daughters that have all gone through Campbell County School District. I have 4 granddaughters and 2 grandsons that are also attend school in Campbell County. I am a big advocate of sports tourism and investing in our youth as well as the infrastructure of our community. So I'm running for City Council Ward 1 to try to help make sure that what I thought was a great place to raise my kids will continue to be a place for other people to raise theirs.
Thank you. So Jim, do you support Penny Power? And if so, are you willing to support it as part of your campaign?
I do support Penny Power, and I am willing to commit to using it in my campaign. I believe Penny Power is a great investment for our community that has the voice of the people. I do believe that we need to use that opportunity of the voice of the people more often. We do a 4-year survey right now. I believe we should do a yearly survey, and we should really direct the money that we're spending that the taxpayers vote in. I think it should be optional. Once it's voted in, then they should have a say where the money goes. I'd like to see that happen a little bit better, but I think that's a great place for any special interest groups or other things, people that want to help with economic development in our community. Penny Power is a great resource for us to use money that we don't have to take from other tax areas or other budgetary areas of our government. So I definitely believe Penny Power is something that we should continue to put on the ballot and let the people speak for.
Thank you. So Jim, thinking long term, where would you like to see Gillette in the next 20 years? And what is your vision to bring that to Campbell County?
I'd like to see Campbell County in 20 years, basically kind of where we were 20 years ago, financially responsible and sound. It's not a hidden thing that energy is going to eventually go away, so I'd like to see our community continue to find different avenues of economic diversity that'll sustain the loss of revenue from the energy sector. So with that, we got to use several different areas. That's a big gap to try to fill. So tourism, sports tourism, other enterprises, the carbon capture, doing things to our community and in our government that will allow businesses to want to come here as a destination. To help continue to grow our community. I did live here in the 80s, and the community I live in today versus where it was there as far as how it looks and the aspect of our community is wonderful. In order to grow, we also have to have people to want to live here. We could have a ton of jobs, but if it's not a good place to raise families, people are not going to come here. So part of my plan is just to try to continue to work with the other entities of the government to make sure that business development is done easily and affordable for companies, and that we can continue to have residential living and housing for those people that move here to have a place to live.
Thank you. So what policy changes or investments are necessary to encourage broader employment?
I think personally, I feel that our government has a lot of red tape that makes it difficult for developers or new companies or industrial companies to start a business here. I think we should try to take some of even the Penny Power money to help develop areas that we can encourage companies to come and grow. Easier for developers to work through our government, with our engineering, with our building department to be able to complete and build projects that we need to build jobs in Wyoming. In Gillette, so I really feel that there's not a whole lot of policies that we need to change. I think we just need to focus on what we already have available to us. We do have a pretty good financial base. We just need to allocate the dollars in places of growth and in new tourism areas versus continuously just to spend it on the things we have in the past.
What are the most pressing needs for infrastructure or capital projects in our community?
Oh, once again, I'd go back to, I think we need to make sure that we have areas developed to bring in companies and industrial progressions. We need to make sure we have high-speed internet, fiber optics, the roadways, sewer and water in place to where when we're trying to attract new companies and businesses, that we have a place to put them up in so they can build their companies up. The same with, I'm a firm believer of the Energy Capital Sports Complex. I think we should continue to grow that as well as the Camplex and other areas of our community. Sports tourism is huge in America, and it's actually a pretty good financial plug in our community if people really dig down into how much money amateur and youth sports bring to our community. So I think we need to be responsible with our budget, but continue to invest in opportunities for income for our community.
What city departments have you been to in the last year, and what have you learned about their different services?
Oh, I've been to the Parks Department and the Building Department. I do work in construction, and I actually had worked for the Parks Department when I went back to college. I think our community and our parks and our building inspection all do a great job. I do think that there are areas in our building department and our engineering department that I think we could cut through more red tape and help developers and different people trying to expand the infrastructure and the building areas of our community. My constituents and people that I've talked to in the building world tend to say that it's very difficult to try to start a new building development, start a new commercial area, that there's just a lot of bureaucracy and red tape that they have to try to jump through, and that they feel that we don't have a lot of support from our city. With our building department, I feel that they go out of their way to try to educate and help people, but I think it goes beyond that, from the very starting process of somebody wanting to start a business or a residential property area. I just think we need to really try to work with them rather than against them.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And lastly, Jim, I'm going to ask if there's anything else that you're passionate about that you would want the voters of Campbell County to know about you that I haven't talked about in these questions.
Yes, ma'am. I do believe in keeping taxes low. I do believe in letting the tax dollars work for the people. And with that, not everybody sees things the same way, which is why it's really important for us to really communicate with our community to figure out what works for every entity. Not everybody wants a dog park, but I don't have a problem with a dog park. If we can afford it and it's within our budget, let's build a dog park. But I'm super passionate about youth and youth activities. I've spent the last 18 years of my life working with nonprofits and Gillette Girls Fast Pitch to help give young ladies of our community a place to play, get off the streets, learn what it's like to be part of a team, and get them into college. And so with our college, with our youth programs, with our school districts, our goal should be ultimately to educate our children to be able to go to work in our community, not only in other people's communities, but if we want to grow Gillette and bring new corporations and industries into Gillette, then we need to have our kids need to be prepared for that, regardless if they're here or somewhere else. So I spend a lot of time and take a lot of pride in helping young ladies, find themselves, find a purpose, and a moral compass to stay on track and to become productive members of society. And through doing that, I've found a passion. If we can focus and get our kids to want to continue to have good things and to be fiscally responsible and to work hard for things, problems tend to work themselves out down the road. We will figure out a way to be economically diverse in Gillette. We will figure out a way to have a great school district for other people's kids to grow up with. I've been very proud of our school district. So I guess my passion is really just to see Gillette continue to be a great place for people to raise their families. And we can kind of close out the rest of the world. There's some craziness in our world, and I'm very grateful that it's not too crazy in our community, and I would love to see it just stay that way forever.
Thank you.
Thank you.